and today we have a new episode in the art review series. And today we'll check out the work of, now it's in, I believe, in Japanese or fuck Chinese. It's kind of confusing, but we're going to refer to this artist as Zishi because that's the slash or the username, I guess. The English version anyway. I found this guy through the homepage on is it the homepage or community page on ArtStation, and I think it was this post, and I'm glad that whenever I see this icon where it essentially says says that you have like a bunch of images on like a post. So whenever I see that, I'm kind of even more inclined to look at it because I expect to see more of this thing. And I checked out his or her ArtStation. Fabulous work. Very focused on character design. If you can see, well, no shit, you can see. There's not a lot of background work. It's just all white canvas, maybe gray occasionally. But even if there's a singular focus on character design, if you look at it, it still has a lot of variety. And I think that's super cool. It shows that even if you focus on one topic, you can have a variety of work within that one lane. And I think that's super cool. And imagine each post having like this icon. Like each post represents a couple of images. Not all of them like have different pieces. Some of them are just like close-ups and such. So, but the more recent ones, I think there's like a bunch of them. So we're going to focus on, maybe a couple that kind of caught my eye. So yeah, again, heavy on the character design. If you look at the drawing itself, it's kind of hard to see, but it's pretty rough, like pencil kind of rough. But I do like it. So maybe this is a silhouette design. I'm going to assume this was done after the character was fleshed out, painted. You create a smaller version of it, but you just paint it all under one color to create or to focus more on the silhouette. So I think that's pretty cool. You put the guy in to indicate scale, but if you look at the way it's painted, it's very rough. You can still see the pencil sketch, even with this guy starting off with a pencil sketch, and it's not even that refined. But with the painting, with the paint over, it's not totally a paint over because you can still see the pencil or pen sketches, and it kind of adds an extra bit of a grit, I guess. If it's just painted, sometimes you lose that original grit from the sketch. Sometimes, yes, you lose the energy, but sometimes having that pencil sketch underneath, it just adds a bit of like teeth to your work, which I think is cool. And it makes it look extra artsy. So there's always that. And I can see a bit of noise done after to kind of tie everything together. But when it comes to texture brushes, I don't see much. It's just heavy on the, I guess, design. But it shows you that you can be rough with your designs as well, because the design still makes sense. It's just that it's not like fully rendered. And I do like the appeal of it. It's very straight to the point. And I like how you're being shown the character size relative to the first one. So I think that's cool. I'm assuming this is like a normal guy around, I don't know, 5'10", maybe 6 feet tall, 5'8", around that normal. Well, 6 feet is tall, but you get the point. You need to have some kind of standard for which everything will be relative towards too. Fuck. Now this one's pretty rough, and even the way the painting is done, it's really just a bunch of flat colors, and the way it's shaded, whether it be the lighting or the shadows, it's done in a dashy manner above, I guess, the original flats. Like, it's very selective with the colors. It's very minimal. You're not being overblown with a bunch of hues. It's just white, blue. This is some kind of rope, so it's kind of yellow, muted yellow, and then that's it. Not a lot of brush textures. I think the only texture here that's actually very obvious is the noise texture, but that's pretty much it. The way the pants or the armor is like shown, like the idea of it being metal or the idea of it being like a rope, it's all impressionistic, very highly suggestible. And I think it's a great way to save time. But it also looks pretty cool. You know, you don't have to be super rendered and beat AI level types of artwork. And I like it. Look at the wings. Leaving that original sketch behind is pretty nice. I'm guessing even the way because once you've done the pencil sketch, you're going to have to mask it or create a silhouette within that to kind of contain all of the paint strokes. You can still see even that layer is not even that clean. The layer where you paint within that kind of contains all of the shapes and colors and hues and values. It adds an extra roughness to the whole thing. And besides, you can always paint over if you lack something or if you need something to go outside of that silhouette. You can always do that. For example, the sword. Did he have to render or she have to render this handle? Not really. I mean, you could just suggest it. That there's some kind of a grip thing happening that helps with the grip. Very comical too, like it communicates character, and I think it's because of the face. Even when it comes to this creature, you can tell it's somewhat devious, somewhat of a funny thing. They're about the same size, she kind of thick, so that's nice. The line work for this chick, you can tell it's a bit colored, so he or she did this after, I'm guessing, to kind of go with the skin tone. Because if it was black, maybe the contrast would be a bit too strong. For example, for this hair, you can tell there's a bit of line work still showing, but it's over painted with some blues to match obviously the general blue hue of the hair. Some blacks are still shown, but it's very minimal, and it's closer to the shadows, or maybe it is the shadows. So yeah, I think you have to tone, as much as the rough line work is cool, you do have to tone it down by coloring over that line sketch with the appropriate color that's close to that line. Now, this one seems like a chill guy. Basic anatomy, love the armor, love the hair. It's kind of glowing too. His eyes are amazing. I mean, look at that. Does it have to be clean? No, but why is it still cool? And it seems so like this guy or this chick has style. It's a very distinct style that I don't think is as common. Even the hairstyle, I can see some dashy strokes for the highlights, for the hair shadows. The face is often soft, not a lot of rendering. It's often done with I'm guessing a soft brush, because you can see like just basic gradients. And the leggings, the line work is almost not even here. It's just a shape and then some soft brushes with some noise texture. But the noise thing is done everywhere anyway, so even the skin, it's rendered with a soft brush, I think. Is it? Well, it makes sense because it's flesh, so it has to be somewhat softer. And maybe maybe you kind of need it, because if the entire thing is all this like rough, maybe it's a bit too much. So having places or spots in your illustration where you can rest your eyes, and I think showing a bit of skin in the face, in the armor, kind of helps your eye rest from all of this designs. Because maybe it can be over. Oh my god, beefy cat. But yeah, oh wow, interesting. And the colors are not that saturated, I've noticed. It's very easy on the eyes. I love this chick's hair. I think it's a girl. Oh, she's kind of thick too. Oh wow, thigh gap. Oh, I like how they're kind of flying sometimes. Or they're, even though they're standing still, it seems dynamic. It's not just a boring, like they're literally just, like a police criminal photo. Oh, she's small. Again, look at the line work. It's red, so it goes along with the skin tone and the hair color. Lots of dashy strokes here. And even outside of the character, like it doesn't have to be fully erased. For example, these parts here, these specks of stuff, it makes it look more artsy. And again, with the skin, very minimal way of rendering the skin. The face, the body, the hands, the arms, even the hand is simplified. The feet isn't like the toes are suggested. Like you can communicate a lot with less. And I think that's my main takeaway from this artist. You can communicate a lot with less while being artsy fartsy. So I see a lot of gradient work here. Well, not a lot, but you know. Well, maybe not great. Yeah, a gradient, but I think it was simply done with a soft brush. So flats and then some extra value changes to show some kind of 3D aspect to it. But it's not like a blended thing. It's almost like a gouache way of rendering where it's like you have one flat color and then you do the one side that's not parallel to the original flat. For example, for this armor, you have two values and that's pretty much it. And there's hardly any highlights except for, say, the ornamentations and stuff. Oh, I love the hair suggestion. It's kind of braided. Again, it's very... Oh, even the hair color, it's gray or white, but there's some bluish hues there. So it's not totally flat, but having some slight variety of hues or values it's more than enough because you're going to do it everywhere anyway. So if you kind of overdo it, say with the hair, it's going to overwhelm everything. Well, this guy is huge. So big freaking arms. Look at those shoulders. Bicep, triceps. Damn, Terminator style. This could be some kind of cannon, hammer. I love this part, the legs. Like this guy looks heavy and you can feel it. And even if this guy is just standing, why does it feel dynamic? Maybe it's because of the positioning of the legs. Like it's it's almost like a 3-point perspective. I think so. Yeah. It's not like a exact flat plane. So it feels like you're on par with the character and you're kind of right there with it, but in a safe distance. This chick or guy, boy, archer, magician, has a dragon pet. Pretty cool. Now, is the rendering tight? No. But is the concept there? Yes. Again, look at all of these extra spectacles. Now, this guy looks fun and kind of crazy. You can tell by the eyes and this slight facial expression. But look! You get it. Does it have to be detailed? No. Does it make sense? Does it communicate the spirit of the character while looking cool as hell? Yes. And look at how the bells are swinging. Like they're about to swing to the other side, or they're kind of at the end of their swing. It adds that extra bit of dynamicness, even if the character is just staying still. So that's cool. I love the arms too. Wow. And look at the way it's rendered. You can definitely see the main flat color and then some shadows. It looks like it was done with a simple round brush too. Like fuck. Jesus. And the nice dashy lines to kind of add a bit of texture. And obviously the noise ties everything together. Oh, the scars. Reminds me of the character in it's a recent anime, Hell's Paradise, the guy with who's blind. He has 2 scars for each eye. Or is it 1 scar for each eye, kind of like this kid? Same kind of approach. Very cool. I love the hair too. See again, look at the hair swinging. It's about to swing to the other side, or it's kind of at the end of the swing. So even if this character is literally staying still, because of that slight movement, it adds an extra bit of life to the character. Here she's a standard. Oh jeez. These designs are amazing. I mean, look, nothing is holding the bottom part. So if this girl jumps around, it's gonna show. So holy fuck, her braids go around her, like in front of her, between her tits, and then it becomes an even bigger braid. What the fuck? It's very creative though, and she's kind of a tolly, so I'm guessing 5'9", you know, mommy vibes. Although the pose itself is pretty standard. And it seems like she's flying because of the cape. It's kind of on the floor and she's kind of in a tiptoe position. So even if she's like, her floating adds that extra bit of a, like she's above and she's not stable and It feels alive. Now for this guy, standard pose, but because of the spirit of the sword, it looks like some kind of armored sword or fiery sword. It's kind of attached to him. The armor looks cool as fuck. Yeah. So maybe the fire, if the guy is moving and the fire is also dynamic, maybe it's too much too. So keep the guy stable, kind of like this guy, and then you just compensate by focusing the energy on this blue light armor fire thing, magic thing. Oh, this guy reminds me of one of the, oh my god, those titties. It's all under like the brown hue. I love the characters here, like the slaves and the servants. Look at his style, or her style, it's very recognizable. The only thing that's in color here is the rings that are kind of accentual, but everything else is kept under one hue, mostly brown for the monsters, I've noticed anyway. Some slight soft lights here. You can see a bit of brown, some reds. Like even if it's all brown, you can tell there's a complementary thing happening. Like there's a bunch of slight greens and a bunch of slight reds. So there's this complementary thing happening. It's very subtle, but if you focus in on, I will link by the way all of these in the description below. You can see it. It's a red here, and then kind of green at the bottom. But it's super light though, or super subtle. But I like the drawings even without the color or the value stuff. The drawing, the concept looks cool. Although it adds a bit of depth if you do add some like paint overs, or not paint overs, but underpaints and colors. Now this guy's a demon, a tiptoeing demon. Interesting. I like the sword. Reminds me of Evangelion, the twisting spear. Looks kind of like an elf, but the face is feminine, but the body seems more of a guy. Femboy. Although the pose, it's okay. This kid is, oh wow. The hair. Even the ornaments of the bracelets, amazing. And I love the pants. This part right here where it suggests the folds around the knees. And you can definitely tell that there's no armor, or shit, there is no armor on the upper leg, but in the bottom leg, it's almost like the armor is some kind of boot, and it stops at the knee. So I think that's cool. And around here it gets, is it armor? It feels like, or it looks like it gets kind of puffy a bit. So it's like baggy at the top. And you can see it kind of congesting in the knee area, or just above the knee. So that's cool. So it's mostly like gray, even though this seems like a white or gray. There are subtle like oranges, blues for this one. Blue, orange and then blue. It's very subtle, but I do recommend you check the actual post and see the range of. So this is weird. It's a bird, maybe a comedic character, blonde hair, interesting. I love the pants, and I love the cute vibes of this bird and this kind of dog bunny. Interesting. But the pose is way more dynamic because it's closer to you, and you're kind of above it too. And it's smaller in perspective or compared to this guy. Also, we have a mage, kind of like a mage. Wonderful hair, very dynamic. It's again with the moving hair to add a bit of a suggesting the fingers. Some colors in the lines. Amazing hat ornamentation. And even the hat is moving. A nice curve here. It's not just a flat like horizontal line. You can make any design look interesting by just twisting the forms and such. So I think that's it for this art review. I do recommend, like, he has way or she, this artist has way more work to check out. So I do recommend you check the links below, or the ArtStation link below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one.